How far should your lead managers take the conversation? That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If you have not been to our website, I've got a special gift for you there. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. And whether you're trying to do your first wholesale deal and get that big, fat, juicy check, or you're looking to increase your deal size to increase your profitability so that you can make a lot more money. I don't care where you're at on your journey. This thing is going to benefit you. My free gift to you, go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. This is the exact same script that we've used to lock up over 1,300 deals in my company, and I know that will benefit you directly. So go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. So that being said, before we jump in today's question, I want to play some good news from one of our listeners.
Hey, Todd, this is John. So I bought your course last year, about February of 2020. Used it. I was able to close 11 deals, tripled my income from my job, able to leave my job, and now looking to build a 2 to 3 deal a month, 100K a year company.
Well, first of all, awesome send-in. I really appreciate that. And it looks like you've done some deals, 11 deals. I tell you what, though, I want to challenge you, okay, to do 100K months. So I know that was you did 10, 11 deals. It sounds like your average assignment fee was $10,000, and that's a good start, right? But this actually is the podcast where we destroy the $10,000 wholesale fee. I mean, it's real easy. You're real close. Let's just add a 0 to the end of those deals, baby. But first of all, congratulations. Thanks for buying the course. I'm glad it helped you close your conversion rate, and that is just so awesome. My challenge to you now is seriously get those deals from 10,000 up to 50. I know you can do it. Go through the system, and man, you are crushing it. Thanks for sending that in. So let's go ahead and jump in today's question, and then I'll answer it.
Hey, this is Roger. When you hired a setter, do you have a different script? Where do they stop in terms of, I want them not to, just to pre-qualify them that, yes, they want to sell the house, or how far do they go into the pre-qual? So do they get asked, do you have them ask for a price question or not?
So, the really important, by the way, Roger, I actually recorded another podcast. I'm going to answer this question here. And it was called How to Make $1 Million a Year with One Team Member. How to Make $1 Million a Year with One Team Member. Not sure if that's the exact title, but go ahead and look back in the podcast and you could take that. I do a whole episode just on hiring a lead manager. And by the way, I know that Roger used the term setter. So what is a setter? Well, it's a term that we call lead manager. Actually, in our company, we call them an ADR, an acquisition development representative. But whoever this person is, you have to remember their point here, or the point of this person. And that is to save you, the business owner, or if you're growing a business and growing a team, save your acquisition specialist time so that they could spend as much time in front of a motivated seller as possible. The more time that you could spend in front of a motivated seller, and I'm talking either on the phone or in person, right? Where that person says, yes, I'm interested in selling, and they have a problem. The more time that you could spend in front of those people, the more money that you are going to be making. As a business owner, you are pulled in 1,000 different directions, right? You got your marketing, you got your list pulling, you got your skip tracing, you got all your administration, you got filing the closing statements on your deals. You've got all the cold calling, if you're cold calling, text blasting, responding to texting. I mean, the list goes on and on, negotiating and going back and forth with the title escrow closing company. There's a lot, right? I can tell you, though, that the bulk of people's time, if they're first starting out or if they're a one-man show, is they're spending 80 to 85% of their time either trying to get people on the phone or trying to qualify those people. So remember what the end goal here. The end goal is to save you time. Okay, so I want you to start there, right? That is their only goal. So if you are starting out and if you decide to hire a ADR, an acquisition development representative, some people call them a lead manager, you call them a setter. is you want them to get really good first at just saving you 80 to 85% of your time. So what do? Well, have them pass people on who, number one, just have an interest in selling. That's it, right? Do not have them overqualify. They get people on the phone, they say, are you interested in selling? And then they pass those people on to you. I can tell you that if you do that, you're just going to save so much time, right? Everything else behind that is, not of high value. And I could tell you that, you're going to be talking to too many people compared to if you're just talking the hottest leads. But that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, and you're not going to confuse your lead manager, right? You're not going to confuse. And that's really, really important, is that you don't want them sitting wondering which leads they should pass on to you. Make it really simple. If you get someone on the phone and they have some interest in selling sometime in the next year or two, pass them on to you. And that's it. Okay. If you get somebody on the phone and they have any interest in selling in the next year or two, pass them on to you. And that's going to save you 80 to 85% of your time. And by the way, I could end this podcast episode right there. And if they just did that, you're going to get like 90% of your results, right? Because you are going to be more mentally sharp, because you're not getting beat up on the phone. You're not trying to get people back on the phone, busy signals, messages, text messages. I mean, it's a lot of work, right? It's physically draining doing all of that and running all aspects of the business. So you could just stop there. But I'll go a little further. After you have this person performing and you're making more money and you're feeling the heat and the weight of the business being lifted off you, then I would make sure that your lead managers get really good at building rapport, right? Have them ask a lot of questions, make sure they're laughing, make sure they're digging deep, and finding out as much as possible about the property as they possibly can, right? If they can get a number out of the seller, that would be great, right? So, they can now start to do some of that rapport building and that information gathering and the extracting. And so I highly recommend, after those first 4 or 5 months, you have them invest in the no limit selling system, or you invest in for them. And they understand the questions that they should be asking, right? You give them the script. They know how to do the stealth mismatches. They know how to dig deep and find those problems so that they could pass them on to you, so that now when you get those notes, you as the business owner can now prioritize which leads. Now, once you do that, once they get to that second layer, and you give them permission to start sending you less leads. And I want you to be very cautious about this. Okay, you now have 95% of your time back. I am not worried about this other 5% where they have to what they're going to qualify you. So if I had to summarize this episode for you, it is much, 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 much better to underqualify the leads than overqualify. I can tell you that someone in this role, you don't want them nervous about sending you a bad lead, right? You could say, hey, look, if you send me a bad lead, that's totally okay. When in doubt, send it over, and give them permission to send you an unqualified lead, so that, hey, you're not worried if you're losing leads. Okay. Now, the other part about this is that I recommend that you have a very, very close connection with your lead manager if you're closing deals. If you are an acquisition specialist and you're listening to this, you should have a very, very close connection with your lead manager. You guys want to have a way to communicate on the fly, whether you're using Slack or whether you're using Voxer or you're using a text message. There should be an ongoing dialogue about the leads that come in and who they're talking to and what's hot and what's not. So every Wednesday and Friday for 15 minutes, we go over our 3 hottest leads and the next commitment to close those. Okay, very, very important. And your lead manager is always on there. Our acquisition specialists talk about those 3 hottest leads. If your if your lead manager has 3 other hottest leads, right, make sure they speak up, right? They say, hey, you know what? Like, I talked to this person and I noticed they're not on your radar, right? Did I miss something? Did you miss something, right? Have a very, very good flow between you guys, okay? And then Friday, we listen to recorded calls and let them listen to the sales calls and gradually get up to speed like the acquisition specialist. So I'm going to review. Number 1, you want to listen to that podcast, How to Make $1 Million a Year with One Team Member. 2, this is all about getting people on the phone, right? Or to save you time, all right? This is not about turning these people into closers yet, okay? They are going to save you time. You are the closer, or if you're getting somebody for your acquisition specialist, their only goal is not to close, but just to get the acquisition specialist on the phone. And that may be you, obviously, if you're a one-man show, okay? This will save you 85% of your time. Also, get your lead managers to get really, really good at rapport building. Ask a lot of questions, make a friend, gather data. And over time, right, this is going to save you some more time. By the way, again, it is okay if your acquisition specialist just stops at getting people who are just interested in selling sometime in the next 1 or 2 years. All right. I'm okay with that. And that's going to get the majority of the bang for the buck. All right. The next part is building that rapport and gathering information. And that's the more advanced part of this, but I'm okay if they don't do that. Okay. I'm not worried about the other 5%, right? It is much better to underqualify the leads and pass them over than to overqualify. Very, very, very important. Do not have your lead managers or your acquisition development representative worry, okay, about sending you an underqualified lead. You don't want to feel like they're going to get reprimanded. Just tell them to send them over, right? And again, you're still going to save so much time. Last part is make sure you have a connection with your lead manager, okay? Make sure that they know the hottest leads in the pipeline. Make sure that they know they can call you, text you, Slack you, email you, whatever your method of communication. By the way, I recommend that you keep it to one. Just decide what that is, right? And make that connection strong. By the way, I talked a lot about the no limit selling system here. If you are interested in the #1 training in the entire country on closing big, fat, juicy deals and compressing timelines, go ahead and check it out at nolimitsalessystem.com. You can get some free videos there. If you want to just purchase it, you can just put a /backdoor on that, nolimitsalessystem.com/backdoor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Real excited that some of these questions about lead managers are coming in. You guys are going to start saving some time, making some big money, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next episode.